Today's discussion, sponsored by Spartan Chemical Company, is important and impactful when you think of where we're going as a cleaning industry, protecting health and embracing sustainability efforts. We will focus on the Healthy Green Schools and Colleges program, a groundbreaking initiative launched by the Healthy Schools Campaign organization, and it's aimed at creating healthier, safer learning environments for students and staff. This program focuses on reducing harmful chemical usage while promoting sustainable practices in educational institutions across the country. So I'm pleased to welcome Sarah Porter, the Vice President of External Affairs at Healthy Schools Campaign. Sarah, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
It's great being here. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you for your time to talk about this important initiative. It's a program that we're going to analyze that means a lot to a lot of people. I know it means a lot to you. Tell us about it and how we got here to this interview today.
I'm really excited to be able to talk with you about Healthy Green Schools and Colleges. Healthy Green Schools and Colleges is a program of Healthy Schools Campaign, which is a nonprofit organization that really works at the intersection of health, equity, sustainability, and education. And Healthy Schools Campaign has been working on issues of green cleaning and sustainability for 20 years. The opportunity to talk with you specifically about this program, Healthy Green Schools and Colleges, was very generously shared with us by one of our platinum sponsors, Spartan Chemical Company. Spartan has been a supporter of Healthy Schools Campaign's work for 20 years. And we're very appreciative of the opportunity to really share more about this program with your audience.
I agree. Spartan is a great partner on many levels, so it's great to hear they're supporting your program. But let's talk about this. What are the high-level requirements for this program? What does it really mean?
So Healthy Green Schools and Colleges is a program that really supports school facility professionals in their efforts to promote health and sustainability. At the core of the program is a standard for healthy, sustainable facilities management programs. So it really sets the bar for both K-12 and higher ed institutions when really making commitments to health and sustainability together. What does it look like for their facilities operations, their maintenance, their custodial teams? And the standard in all of its 40 pages goes through all kinds of criteria that really kind of setting the bar for what that school should be doing in any number of areas. A school district or higher ed institution can then measure themselves against the standard using our assessment tool to understand in the areas of cleaning, sanitizing, disinfecting, for example, floor care, integrated pest management, all sorts of things. How do they currently measure up against what the standard says? And then we offer resources, programming, tools, virtual and in-person events all year round to help schools on their journey towards making improvements where they might need to. And then ultimately, school districts and colleges are able to earn a certification that really shows off that they have indeed met this very high standard for healthy and sustainable facilities management programs.
So, Sarah, this program's up and running. Talk about those who are already involved and how's that looking?
Yeah, so I mentioned that this is a program both for K-12 districts and higher ed institutions, and that it's pretty new. So far, we've got a pretty incredible list of schools that have made a commitment to being part of the program and are actively working towards their certification. One of the great things about this program is that it's for everyone, whether you're from a really small district in the corner of Maine, like Cape Elizabeth School Department, or you are Chicago Public Schools, who recently joined the program and is really taken off in their work around Healthy Green Schools and Colleges. We have districts in the middle like Kansas City Public Schools, Salt Lake City, and Clark County, the fifth largest school district in the country as well. So big, small, spread out geographically. They're kind of all over the place. There's something for everyone. On the higher ed side, we also have some of the best programs out there so far. University of Georgia, for example, being one of them. We also have University of California, Riverside. So we've got a great list started, and we're growing all the time.
You didn't just get up one day and say, let's do this. Some serious planning went into this. Is that true?
Very true, actually. And the way that Healthy Schools campaign approaches all of our work, whether we're talking about green cleaning or school food or anything else, our approach is that we engage with school stakeholders on the ground to really understand what is it that schools need, what do they wish they had that they don't currently have, and how is it that we can help. And so in that spirit, we gathered together a group of school facility directors from all across the country back in the summer of 2019. And we started a process. We had that conversation and sort of pitched this idea of creating this standard and supporting program, because what they were really looking for was something that would help them benchmark what they were doing in terms of health and sustainability, to help them understand how are they measuring up kind of right now to other schools in the area, other schools across the country. How could they track their improvements over time? They were also really looking for a program that would help them better articulate what they were doing in their programs to their larger school community, with parents, with students, with administrators, for example. And when we were working on this during the height of the COVID pandemic, it really turned out that what they said they needed before COVID hit, they needed even more during that time to be able to sort of educate and explain decisions that they were making around cleaning and disinfection, for example, or HVAC maintenance and IAQ monitoring. So this program is really built with all along by school facility directors and for school facility directors. And the most important piece then is the opportunity for them to earn recognition for the incredibly important work that they're doing. And when they reach that level of excellence and they've measured themselves against the standard and have succeeded, then this program offers an opportunity to really get that positive recognition for their important work.
Okay, good information. A lot has gone into this. You mentioned standards, requirements. Let's talk about the ones doing the work. What role does custodial staff play in implementing and working with this program? And is there any special training that needs to be considered?
Yes, there are a few things. So I mentioned that the standard itself has a whole set of criteria, and it really walks folks through everything. And for example, we have a procurement section, and it'll walk you through all of the different product categories, from consumable goods, durable goods, powered equipment, and it'll tell you, if you're shopping for all-purpose cleaners, if you're shopping for restroom cleaners, look for products that have these attributes. And it'll point to a number of different third-party certifications like Green Seal or Safer Choice, for example. And so it's really important for the facility directors, for the purchasers, for the teams doing the work to understand if what they're using is in alignment with the standard, if how they're using it is in alignment with the standard. Because of course, proper training on all of these things is incredibly important. And so when a school district is working towards getting certified, it becomes a really great opportunity for that entire team to work together towards this common goal. And everyone in it plays a role, from leadership who get on board to support the district's commitment to this, to the managers and procurement officers, to the teams that are in the buildings doing that important work every day. Everybody needs, to understand what the commitment is and make sure that they're doing their part towards earning that certification.
So with that, let's dig into that thought a bit. What's the reaction of those looking at this certification program from an investment perspective and a time commitment perspective? What are you hearing?
I would say one of the most interesting things is that for schools that are taking our self-assessment for the first time, there is definitely sometimes an element of surprise. There are 100 points spread out throughout the standard, and schools sometimes initially don't score as high as they thought they might have. And when we really dig into that, it's very interesting to see like what are the things that are sort of, holding up these, more points. And often it is that a school district or college or university is actually doing most of the things required, but maybe they're not being documented in the way that they need to be. And part of the concept here is that this work towards really, really prioritizing health and sustainability, that it is institutionalized throughout the district or the college so that this isn't work that's championed by one individual person who then maybe at some point retires. The idea is that the daily SOPs, the facilities policies, the RFPs, everything that's in writing then really supports this commitment to health and sustainability. And so we're finding that there is definitely a time commitment to sort of going through the list and figuring out what do you have ready to go and maybe what you do need to work on. And in some cases, it's sort of getting that written documentation in order. I would say, in addition to that, though, the year-round programming that we have is really centered around bringing together schools that are in the program to share with one another tools that they've developed, strategies, things that they've used that they've loved, things they've used that they didn't love. There's a big piece of this that is schools sharing with other schools, how they're getting stuff done, and learning from one another.
I noticed, Sarah, on the Healthy Green Schools and Colleges website, it says that this program is meeting a critical need. Talk about that some more. Spotlight that for us, that need.
Yeah, absolutely. So at Healthy Schools Campaign, we operate on the premise that healthy kids are better learners. We all know this to be true, but it's something that we need to keep top of mind all the time. And really looking at the types of products, tools, equipment, processes that are in place in a school setting around facilities management is incredibly important. And not only are school facility professionals out there doing this work, but that need to really continue to seek out more and better, safer, effective products and tools is always there. And when schools are doing more of that and demanding more and better products at a competitive price, then the industry is then challenged to meet that need. And I would say over 20 years, wow, have we seen so much change in what the industry has to offer schools. And that's where our corporate sponsors come in as well, because we only work with companies that have products and offerings that are in alignment with the standard. Spartan being one of them, and there are a number of others as well. But when schools when our work is really increasing the demand for that, it's incredible to have the industry as a partner in that work as well.
So, Sarah, those watching this program, if they're in the industry, if they're involved with what we're talking about in any way, they get it and they value what you're saying. But they also have to sell that to other stakeholders as well and get the money for this and the time and the commitment. So, for those on the outside looking in, saying, what's in it for us? What would you tell those non-industry people?
Yeah, so I would say if you are someone that works in a school or whether it's elementary or uh, high school or higher ed, what's in it for you and what you could potentially think about doing next is that if you're in a setting that is using this program, then you know that your indoor air quality is improved. You know that the cleaning chemicals and products and equipment that are being used are the safest ones possible, and that is protecting your health as well as the health of the students. It's interesting to think about being focused on student health is of course extremely important, but also the staff, because the students at some point will leave that building and go on to the next one as they grow up. But often we say custodial workers, for example, working in the same building year after year, decade after decade. And so what they're using and how they're using it is incredibly important when we think about protecting their health. So if if you're listening and you're not an industry person, but you're someone using all of this important stuff in a school setting, I would definitely encourage you to learn more about the program, and share it with others at your school.
I have to ask about sustainability because everyone's talking about that. That matters. The world's a dumpster fire in many ways when it comes to what's happening. How does this impact sustainability? What would you say to that?
Yeah, it has a big impact on sustainability. I mentioned earlier that one of the things in the standard kind of really goes through the different third-party certifications that we recognize that are in alignment with the standard. Green Seal being one of them, of course, Safer Choice, Eco Logo is in there as well. There are a number of them. And all of those certifications have, done the work of really looking at what are the different attributes that really protect the environment. And so our standard is in alignment with those things. It's some of it's simple. It's things like using concentrates instead of ready to use. Things like that, which are, easy to do, but make a big impact on the larger environment. All of this then goes into reducing carbon footprint. You're using things more efficiently, you're shipping less, all of those things. So each piece of this really adds up in that way, not to mention protecting human health, but also the health of the environment.
Sarah, I don't know how many jobs you've applied for in the past, but you know how you're in the interview process and they say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or where do you see yourself in 10 years? I'm going to ask you that question. Where do you see this program in 5 or 10 years?
I'm excited about the future of this program. This particular program is pretty darn new. It's been around for less than 2 years. I mentioned that we kind of started exploring this in 2019, and we were working with our partner who helped us sort of build and design the program, Green Seal, and we spent 3 years building it. And it's still very well. It feels like I've been working on this for a while. It's very new in its life, sort of out in the world. And so when I think about next year and 5 years and 10 years, I'm really excited about more people getting to be familiar with healthy green schools and colleges across the country, more schools involved in the program, more companies supporting the program, because there's so much in this program that can benefit students and staff across the country.
The last question is a simple one. Those watching the program, they want to learn more, they want to get involved, they want to contact you. What would you tell them?
I would say check out our website, healthygreenschools.org. You can contact me there. You can learn more about the program. You can sign up for communications so that you can stay in touch and keep an eye on upcoming events.
Sarah, thank you for this.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate the opportunity. And thank you again, Spartan, for sharing this opportunity with us.